No calls coming in. We'll hear it. There it is. There it is. Yo, what's going on? You live?
Hey. Yeah, I'm live.
Yeah.
Fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing good.
How was the Blaze?
It's fantastic as always.
Glenn back?
No.
Was Glenn there?
No.
Why not?
Well, he wasn't there. He has other things to do.
Oh, it's rough. So, first, let me say, sorry for being so spicy on Twitter. I'll try to keep things civil. But yeah, it's good to catch up.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, you're here, and I figure I'd go ahead and give you the opportunity to certainly make your case. I know you just said, you know, you're spicy on Twitter. Certainly have said some very damning things about me, claiming I'm grifting and all these other things. So, you know, appreciate you calling in, and I figure that we go ahead and give you a chance to make your case, and you know, let folks know why it is you feel I am grifting.
So here's why. Is because I mean the basic is this: is that I mean you have all these fans, and that's, you know, great, and you have your YouTube and your stream. I guess, and you have lots of fans there, and clearly what they like is your sort of overwhelmingly negative, you know, channel, right? Would you agree with that?
I wouldn't agree that it's overwhelmingly negative, no.
So, I mean, do you have your channel open there? I mean, let's look at the videos and just the titles.
Okay.
Number one's Ben Shapiro. That jackass speaks for himself. The next one is
what's the problem with that one? Let's start with that one. Let's start with that one. What's the problem? What's the problem with the Ben Shapiro one?
Well, I mean, we could talk all day about Ben Shapiro, but would you agree that Ben Shapiro is like, you know, one of the main guys in the alt-right right now?
No, I wouldn't. Alt-right, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be that fond of a Jewish man. So no, I wouldn't consider him that.
Yeah. I know that's a thing. I mean, like you and Ben, like Milo before you, you know, it's people who are like, say, well, I'm black, so I can't be racist.
Well, I didn't pull any.
I'm Milo, so I can't be hateful.
Well, no, that's not what I said. I'm just saying that it doesn't make it. No, that's not. No, let me clarify that. It's not what it is I'm saying. And by the way, I haven't pulled any sort of race card. I'm just saying
it's it on Ben's behalf.
Well, no, not at all. I'm just saying that, you know, you're referencing and
how could he be alt-right if he was Jewish?
Right, correct. It doesn't make any sense because no. Well, hold on, just a second. I figure that I understand that you may not like Ben, or you may not agree with his. You may even find his views abhorrent or even extreme, and that's fine. I'm not here to even dispute how you personally feel like that. But when you give him or try to claim that someone is part of a group, like be it alt-right or be it Nazism or something like that, it's very silly considering what the alt-right actually is. And he's not, he is the antithesis of that, especially being a Jewish man.
He's far right.
If that's fine. Those terms, if you want to call him that, that's fine. I just think trying to apply alt-right to him is just doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Okay, so let's go back to your positive and or negative YouTube. So the second one is a live discussion with a tractor. You got a little picture of a guy there looking like an idiot. Next one says this is what the audience they wanted, with a big cross on his face. Next one is mad, huh?
What is wrong? What's the actual problems here? I'm not understanding.
This is why they're so mad.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm saying like your YouTube, which is fine, but the theme of it is you sort of taking down other people in the industry.
Well, all right. Well, actually, if we go back to, well, not necessarily. I mean, taking people down in the industry, I think is a little harsh. But let's talk about that. Let's talk about that real quick. Let's just talk about that. Well, hold on. Let's talk about that real quick. The first one doesn't make any sense because, for example, you're talking about this Ben Shapiro video, and in that video, I'm actually calling it silly. Hold on, let me finish. I'm actually calling it silly that there's a podcast network or whatever that is, of course, having to come out with a public statement. They feel that they have to because some person felt threatened of him just just being there, smiling and taking pictures with other people. I wouldn't consider that negative at all. The other video that you referred to, of course, is me actually defending myself in kind of a similar way right here. I think defense, I would put that as more of a positive thing. The other video that you mentioned is talking about this is what the guy wanted with the X on his face is actually Zaslav, and that's the people that I'm talking about feel that way, putting the X certainly, or the circle with the dash through it over his face, because they don't like that man because of the things upon which he they feel like he's acting with HBO Max and Warner Bros. And all of that. The other one, this whole Mad Hunt's talking about CBR writers that have said negative things about me, actually, and me, of course, defending myself from those claims. I would consider those actually the four.
Okay. You're saying negative things about CBR. You're saying negative things about the CW. You're saying negative things about She-Hulk.
No.
You're saying negative things about whoever this is about. These are very stupid
But why did you just skip over those? Why did you just skip over those 4 videos that I just mentioned? Right? Like
Shapiro, we could leave Shapiro aside, because I mean, you have these comic book ones. Then you also have just, Shapiro shows up, Trump shows up. There's another one I saw.
Yeah.
I mean, just sort of there's random like right-wing political stuff that just sort of pops into the feed for reasons that will forever be mysterious, I suppose. But so Shapiro, like, leave him aside, because he's one of the sort of random, right-wing marshmallows that pop up in the cereal. And even if you're being defensive, you're still saying negative things about the people you're being defensive.
So how would you? What do you mean by that? And all right. So the point that you're trying to make, if I understand, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that you're saying that my videos are negative, even when I am defending myself from negative claims, right?
Well, and so negative not meaning like bad, but it has like this vibe. Like yours is the same, like Ethan's is the same. That Zach guy.
But vibes is, I think you're not actually pinning anything. You're not actually directly speaking to something kind of specific there. I would consider positive defending myself, especially this.
Why would you make two? Why would you make 2 She-Hulk videos for a show you don't like? Just like, don't make a video. Like, why are you making videos about things that are not
I'll explain. That's easy to explain. I actually think it's kind of criminal that they're using that character in the way that they certainly are. In fact, you can go to various videos that I've made over the course of the last years going to bat for the character She-Hulk. I've called her the most popular, not popular actually. I said the best, in my opinion. What tokenized character exists is the best upon them would be She-Hulk. So actually I defend the sanctity of more of these characters, and I would argue than certainly my critics do when I see something that is a hold on, let me finish. When I see something that, let's say, is a bastardization of that character, I certainly have gone to bat. It should be mocked. It should be made fun of when they have an ill attempt, especially from a character that was so beloved like that. It's a similar thing I did with Monica Rambeau. I don't know if you've tracked back that long, Monica Rambeau with Captain Marvel, and how they handled that character in that movie. I certainly went to bat for that character, and it sounds like you're certainly welcome to correct me that you have an issue with me actually speaking on things that I'm actually passionate about. This is an industry that I've spent.
Lots of you can be passionate in like 2 ways, right? I mean, there's lots of YouTube channels, and what you're doing on YouTube is fine. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't be doing it, but there's 2 kinds of YouTube channels. There's like positive ones. They're like, hey, this is what I like about media, and you just dredge up pieces of media and then share it with people. And then there's another kind which yours falls into, where you're sort of sifting through media and finding stuff you don't like.
I wouldn't argue that I ever do that. I only talk about things upon which I do know.
Dude, it's just look at your YouTube.
Yeah, I understand that, but yeah, what I'm talking about is comic books.
You know all about the law.
Huh? One more time.
Well, I'm just filtering through. I mean, it's so funny. If you look at your YouTube and scroll down, like, I'm saying that it's overwhelmingly negative, and you're saying, no, that's not the case.
Well, no, I think that's, of course, it's a matter of perspective. It's a matter of perspective, and I'm not knocking you. I'm not knocking you for having that perspective on my videos.
YouTube guy. That's fine.
But no, not at all. It's just that I think that you need me to be that. So you've already made. Hold on, let me finish. You've made up your mind upon whatever box. You even said, hey, there's these guys guys that do this and these guys that do that. And you've already placed me in this box, which I think is being very disingenuous, because you're completely ignoring the fact that I have spoke about comic books, and that has been my theme. So obviously, if there's something that's going on in the industry, and I think that is you want to speak about negative things, I think that it's a negative as far as what's happened in the comic book industry. I think it's very important. If it was positive, I'd say positive things certainly about it if that were the case, but it's not. In fact, a lot of the fire that was lit onto me was looking at the state of the industry and wanting to be a part of the problem instead of always griping about the actual solution. So I look at that passion. I of course wholeheartedly disagree with your position, because you're just looking at it like, well, he's saying things that are negative, and therefore I'm going to go shift through things that are in itself negative. No, I'm a realist at the end of the day, and I'm looking at it as what I am being given. If I feel this Marvel, hold on, let me finish. I promise you, I'm gonna let you talk. But if you look at other Marvel Cinematic Universe, when I had reviewed, I've given very positive reviews. For example, when I did watch material on DC comic movies as well as Marvel comic movies, those exist, are all public, certainly on my channel. But if I am giving something that is, or something is being presented that is bad, I'm going to certainly talk about this. Or if there's an angle or something that I feel is important to highlight, then that's exactly what I'm going to do. If I am to stop that, I would be being actually fake, because I would have to put on a smile essentially on my face when looking at a lot of this bad material, which I think a lot of people do, looking at this bad material and fronting as if it's not bad material. I have no desire to do that. If it's bad, if I don't like it, then I'm going to give it to people straight. If I do enjoy it, if it's something that I get out of it that I enjoy, I'll give it to them straight as well. This is not about me trying to find something negative in it or find something to be mad at. That's not how I operate.
Okay, so what would you say your top 5 monthly books are right now? What right now? What 5 books do you read monthly that you like?
I don't read any current era comic books. I stopped doing that months ago. I could tell you the top 5 characters that I'm intrigued for the audience to know about Rippaverse. I'd rather talk about that. Right
before you stopped, what were your top 5 favorite books?
When I stop, what?
You can't answer because you don't actually.
No. I'm asking you to clarify. Like top 5 as far as what? Like you're saying books that when you say
comic book fan, you'd go to the comic book store and you'd say, these are the 5 I'm looking forward to reading this month.
Oh, so you're saying when I was still all right? So you're asking me what books I liked while I was still reading them, right? Correct?
Yes.
All right. Oh, that's easy. Detective Comics. Hold on. That's easy. Detective Comics. Certainly post Rebirth. I talked about that pocket of time when you had, it was again Rebirth. So this is after the New 52. And I like that Bat family that was certainly introduced then, where you had Batwoman, you had Clayface, of course, Red Robin, you had Spoiler Orphan. I thought that made a very cool team. I even talked about Batwoman that was a part of that team and how certainly she was tolerable. You can also talk about the Justice League books. I thought those were pretty solid. One of the books that I've ranted and raved about so many times was Black Widow, that was written by the Soska sisters, the awesome Soska sisters, that are amazing writers. They did a limited series. It was called No Restraints Play that came out a few years ago. I thought that was certainly a just amazing book. I'd even tolerate, and some people may disagree with me, before Tom King kind of fell off the hill, that Batman that he was writing for a little bit, like you had the War of Jokes and Riddles, that was pretty solid, and then it kind of fell off a cliff certainly after the whole wedding kind of situation with Catwoman. So yeah, I've talked to many times about.
Did you read Mr. Miracle?
No, that was after I called it quit. No, I didn't read Mr. Miracle. But by the way, I just gave you plenty of books. No, I didn't read Rorschach. I was out by then. I know that's Tom King's Rorschach. I know exactly the books that you're talking about. I didn't read that. I didn't want to read it. I was tapped out by then. I was like, why am I spending hundreds of dollars? Hold on. Let me. So I just gave you. So you see, like you tried to use this kind of gotcha. It was very disingenuous. So this is why I think that you probably should actually try to research what my actual positions are, because if you would have asked that question, you wouldn't have to ask it if you just looked at my playlist that talks about all those reviews. reviews. You tried to do a gotcha, like, hey, you can't name it because you know I could easily name it, and you were incorrect. And I just want that. I just want that record to be out there. I answered it, and you lost on that particular point.
Have answered that. You couldn't have answered that shittier. But anyway,
wait. You no. Stop. Why was that a shitty answer?
Well, number one, first you were like, oh, well, what do you mean? We're talking about, I'm out of the game.
Well, no, I didn't know, because all you said, what was your favorite when you stopped? I didn't know what you were talking about.
No, and you said you needed clarification, and then you kind of just named vague, like, runs.
No, how was that a vague run? No, that was not. How was that a vague run? Post? No. Hold on, wait. How was that a vague run? I gave you the exact team, and that was in Detective Comics and everything. These are reviews that are on my page. What are you talking about? No Restraints Play. When Black Widow. Hold on, no. When Black Widow actually takes it to sex traffickers and pedophiles. What are you talking about? Those are specific runs. I even gave you the name of that series. Do you want any more that I enjoyed? I enjoyed some of Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man as well.
Eventually you got there.
Say what?
Eventually you got there. Okay, but I said eventually you got there. But
it wasn't eventually. You were just wrong. No. Let's get the record straight. You tried to use a gotcha, which is why you interrupted me. Hold on. Which is why you tried to. And hold on. Just a second. Let's just get it out there for the record. You were incorrect. You thought that I could not name books that I liked because it authorized, I guess, whatever position that you needed me to have. Okay. And now I don't have it, and I proved to you. No, hold on, wait. I proved to you. And reference specific books. I reference specific books of what I enjoyed of comic books, and you were incorrect. You were incorrect. That's all that you were incorrect, and that's why you shouldn't make the critical error of guessing people's positions. That's all.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Got that out of your system?
Well, it wasn't something in my system. I was just speaking of facts. I said you were wrong. So, do you have anything else that you wanted to bring up?
So here's the grit and you have a very successful YouTube. That's great. I mean, good for you. I say it has this certain tone to it. It's drawn a lot of fans because it's sort of a popular thing these days amongst certain types of people. And those people like you. And then you say, okay, guess what, people? You can support me by buying my merch. Here's like a T-shirt, and here's a hat, and here's like some other stuff, and here's a comic book that I wrote and someone apparently drew, like, kind of okay. And then
first of all, please don't insult insult my professional artist by saying that it's kind of okay. Those guys did a fantastic job, and they're industry vets. Please don't.
I've only seen what's on the page, like the third page with the two characters jumping at each other. If there's a more boring way to draw that scene, I'd be interested to know what it is.
All right, that's fine. But either way, these are my artists. I get that you might not like the art. That's certainly understandable. But don't insult my artists. Yeah. Certainly not to me. Don't insult my artists. Those guys do fantastic jobs.
Oh, okay, it's great. And did you write the copy on your website?
Did I what? What is that?
Like,
what is
write
that?
The copy, like write the description.
No, that I also don't understand what that has to do with the point that you were just making about the grift. Can we focus on that real quick? And I have no get me wrong. I have no problem moving to the next thing, but let's focus on that part right there.
Okay, but so you say I'm writing this comic, and we'll see. I suspect it's not going to be that great, and then everyone
disagree. I think people are going to love it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be fantastic. But continue.
Okay. And we'll see. I mean, because the copy says, if you buy it, so what happens when Avery and Darren's meeting? Exciting. Who and where is the family friend? Just grab item number 1, and you'll find out. You get to find out who and where the family friend is. Is that what's been missing from comics, you think? Family friends?
That's the story upon which I'm writing.
Big selling?
That's the story upon which I'm writing.
Yeah. Who is the family friend and where is he?
Yeah, they can find that information out, and they can be intrigued by the right. Yeah. What's the point that you're trying to make?
That's the intriguing plot point you have, is who and where the family friend is. Anyways, so it might be good. Maybe this is the best family friend based comic book in the world. But
I'm going to ask you one time, please stop being like that whole snarky kind of taking shots and shit. Just go ahead and be up front. There's no reason to be, you kind of being passive aggressive. I'd respect you a lot more if you were just like direct instead of like, hey, giggling and shit. Like just be direct. Don't be a little pussy about it.
Hey, okay, tone, please.
No, that's the tone that you're giving me, and you're being passive aggressive. So don't be passive aggressive. Just be direct. Just be direct. We're both adults. We're both men. You're a man, right? I don't know what your pronouns are. You're a man, right?
Yeah.
All right. So you're a man. Like, let's be men. Let's be adult men about it. There's no need to be passive aggressive. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So, but the point is, you've produced a lot of YouTube content and Blaze TV content, I guess, and podcasts. You haven't produced comic books yet. So what I'm saying is, the people who are buying your comic book, it's because they like your YouTube stuff.
Okay.
Like, it's basically merch.
Okay.
And you go out there and you say, hey, I'm this big comic creator. I've sold all these comics. And no one in the industry cares, because they say, well, like, you haven't sold any comics. Like, for example, this. I mean, you say, well, comic book resources and other places don't cover this story. But what's the story? Like, no one in the industry is just going to say, this guy sold a lot of stuff.
They do that all the time. They do that all the time. When someone comes on, no, they've done it before. They've done it with other creatives, definitely, that are independent. Like, hey, this guy came out. They did it with Keanu. They did it with Keanu when he came out with his. Hey, this guy made this much money despite him never having any evidence of him ever writing a comic book ever. So they have certainly done. They've done that. They've certainly done that.
You released previews and more information than you've released.
What, like, as far as what? As far as what?
Like pages, like done pages.
I've released some done pages. I released there's a couple of done pages there. On the campaign.
All I can see is there's 3 pages, no lettering.
Yes, there's no lettering on there. Yeah. That's also not anything that's not unique either. You speak of, you look at some of even the previews that are put out by the same company that you're talking about with CBR. Oftentimes they put stuff out, like we were just talking about that's I guess that spider person that they're coming out with. Those pages that they released for that book that I think is Into the SpiderVerse. I can't remember if it's issue 3 or 4. Had no lettering on it, and it was only a couple of pages that they released when they were talking about it. I think it was just 2. Yeah, and it had no lettering on it. So,
yeah, but it's not saying like give us like, $50 or $30 plus shipping for 90.
I don't see how that. So you see how you just moved the goalpost, right? I just showed you an example of someone doing actually less, right? Because they provided less content on what's in that book that I just mentioned, and then you moved it to the price. Right. So which one is actually the complaint here?
Okay. So I'll move it back. Is that, I mean, do you feel that these 40,000 people have bought your book because A, they like your YouTube content, or B, because they like the book that no one knows anything about?
Why do those have to be separated? Why can't it be both?
They don't. It can be both.
Okay.
But I mean, there's no information about the book.
There's plenty of information about the book. There's a whole story about the book. There's characters that have been obviously revealed that were there. They're being named. We released a trailer that names off these guys, shows them as well. And of course, we have the campaign story and the long campaign, like the short story and the campaign story that gives people information on what the synopsis certainly is of the book. Like, that's a thing that exists, and there's a lot of people that are intrigued by that. You can see when you look at some of this fan art, a lot of fan art that's come out.
This is why it's a grift, because there isn't information. You say there's lots of information, but there just objectively isn't. But again, when you're saying there's not a lot of information, so people release books. All right. So what exactly does that mean? Like, why is that particularly relevant? When we talk about, let's say, that Into the SpiderVerse or SpiderVerse, whatever book that has only released 2 pages or so, when they gave whoever the previews. That's issue 3. That's issue 3.
I understand that. That's issue, but it's a different art. No, how they're doing that book is a different artist and a different writer as well. So it's issue 3. It's not T. Franklin didn't write the other 2. T. Franklin didn't write the other 2 issues. So that's how they do those SpiderVerse books. So it's basically a new book.
But when they say, when they say like, who's doing Spider-Man now? Like John Romita is coming back. or when they say, you know, Grant Morrison and Frank Quitely are doing new X-Men, and you're like, oh, well, we know those people, like we know about them. We can look at their previous work. They release like, you know, pages and stuff. For yours, there's, and that's the thing too. I mean, in terms of you say, oh, I've ghostwritten things, I've done other art, but you're never specific about. Have you ever published a narrative story?
Like through myself, that wasn't music? No. Like with my own name on it? No.
A narrative story?
No, yeah, I've written plenty of those. Yeah, I've written plenty. I've been writing narrative stories. A lot of the stories that, you know, I've come up with, even with some of the influence of the actual Rippaverse stuff, this is stuff I've been pondering on and jotting down and writing for decades. So it's not like a.
Okay, but have you ever published? I mean, you can keep a journal all you like, and that's fine.
No, it's not that. It's just I'm being honest with you. I'm being honest with you. I'm being honest with you. Like, no, like as far, this is my first comic book company. But again, like you're moving kind of the post here, because I just gave you an example of what SpiderVerse did.
All right, so I know you like saying that. But,
all right, so why did you mention? All right, let me ask. Since you say I like to say that, I was specific. I want you to address it too. I first brought up the fact that a book that is released by a major publisher, Marvel, put out previews or whatever that they gave, both CBR and whoever, and they only had a couple of pages that were not lettered on there. When I brought that up, which was basically you said that was a negative thing or something that we doing and I don't warrant the support, then you shifted to the price and said, yeah, but they're not charging $35 plus shipping. What does that have to do with the other point? Because
it's important, because the price and the format is also part of the way you sort of keep things hazy, right? Like, because I mean, you can definitely put out a standard 24-page or 22-page, whatever they are these days, book, self-published. I mean, like, you know, like Copra is fucking amazing. You know, you look back, like Straight Bullets and stuff like that can be done, right? And people buy a comic book and then they have the 24 pages and they go, oh, wow, this is good. And then they buy the next 24 pages and the next one, blah, blah. And then there's sort of a standard pricing. By sort of having this weird, it's kind of a graphic novel, kind of trade paperback, but kind of not. And it's like this weird $35 price plus shipping. That's an entirely different proposition than saying, you know, here's 2 pages of what the character is going to look like of an ongoing series. Even though a new team is coming on, maybe you want to spend $5 at your local comic store to pick it up.
I don't see how that makes any sense.
By having this weird format, which you do it, that guy did it, like Ethan. I don't know much.
What is the weird format that you're mentioning? I don't understand. What, putting out a 96-page book?
Yeah, that's a weird format.
How is that a weird? Okay, all right. So you think that's weird? I disagree. I disagree with that being a weird format. I think that's a meaty book. That's a meaty book that I wanted to put out, and that was how I was able to tell the story that I wanted to tell and introduce the entire universe that I needed to introduce, considering that I'm having to get people invested in it. And I thought 96 pages was good. Huh?
Like, why demand such a huge buy-in?
Why does it have such a huge buy-in? What do you mean?
Why not have? Why demand such a huge buy-in? Like, why is it you spend all this money or nothing? Like, why don't you just have a standard, like, teaser, 24 pages?
Because that's not good enough. And I'm gonna tell you from a business standpoint, I think that would have been foolish for me to do that. And it wouldn't have made sense for the vision that I had.
Yeah, because they see the first 24 pages, like, I don't know what this.
No, that has nothing to do with it. It just has to do with the fact that, by the way, both of my artists have published other work. So if people wanted to be more familiar with like kind of what they did things, they could have done that. But
the only guys doing
what? Like, I don't.
The people doing the format are you, Zach, and Ethan.
Like, and I'm guessing. So you're saying the format of 90. You're saying the format of 96 pages is something fundamentally wrong with that, right?
No, well, yeah. I mean, it's part of the grift, because then you can constantly deflect. Because people are like, well, that's too expensive. You're like, well, I'm going to compare it to this. And then they say, well, compare it to that. Like, people say they compare it to trades, and you say,
can you define grift? Before we continue on, you say that's part of what? Can you define grifting just like in your own definition? Like, what do you think? What does that mean?
Sort of like fraudulently bilking people out of money.
Oh, okay. So can you? All right. So where's the fraud that's existing here?
I mean, like the ghostwriting thing gets kind of close to it, where you imply that you've written narrative stuff, and now you've kind of admitted that you never have.
No, that's not what I just said. And please don't lie. I never said that I haven't. No, I never said that I hadn't written anything. That's a lie. I never made that claim. Never had I made that claim. Yes, there's two different things. Not writing something and having a publishing company are two completely different things.
So you ghost wrote stuff that never got published?
No. When ghostwriting means that you don't get a named credit. You don't get a named credit. That's what that implies. I've been doing that with music since I was 15 years old, and I've done it with various other work, speeches, and other stuff. I myself have not. This wasn't.
Have you ever done it with a narrative thing?
Yes,
have
correct.
You ever ghostwritten a narrative?
Yes, correct. There's no fraudulent. What? One more time.
What is that you ghost wrote?
Why would I tell you what I? Why do you know what a ghostwrite is? Do you know what that term is?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know why that
the guy who ghost wrote Donald Trump's book is widely known.
I don't know who it is. I don't know.
Going on, yeah, I ghost wrote it.
I have no idea. I have no idea who ghost wrote Donald Trump stuff.
Forever.
I don't know who ghost wrote their stuff.
But anyways, you actually. That seems a bit grifty. And
all right. So you're saying that it's a bit. Hold on. No. We're not. You can't just. We're not gonna just move past that. So you're saying that I'm frauding other people, and it's a bit grifty because I haven't published my own work, right? Is that's the premise here, right?
Well, no, because you're saying like this is a great comic, I've written this great thing, and if anyone says, well, why should anyone believe that? You say, well, I've ghostwritten stuff.
Well, no, that's not what I. Well, no, that's not what I lead with. That's not that. No. That's not what I lead with. That's incorrect. When I say that, and first of all, it's not anything I lead with, by the way. But when I say that, that's just pointing out the simple fact that this is not my first writing project, which is why I've always mentioned the fact that I have been in successful bands upon which I wrote the music for, and this is not my creative project. So that's what I mean when I bring that up. I bring the music up more than anything. That is stuff that people know and can identify that I have certainly done creatively. So this isn't my first creative project at all. If you want to say this is my first self-published comic book, then say that. That's fine. But don't you can't just make a claim that I'm like frauding people and then have the insufficient evidence that proves that. That's a damning claim, right?
Well, you've strongly implied that you've written narrative stuff before.
Yes. No, I'm not strongly implying I have. I have. I'm not strongly implying I have.
You published narrative.
I haven't published. No, I have. Unless you're considering narrative-based stuff, me telling a story in a song. I've done that, yeah. But if you're talking about like some sequential like book, no, I'm not a publisher. I hadn't done that until now. Now I'm a publisher.
Why won't you like put preview pages up?
I have preview pages up.
Oh, like completed preview pages. Like Marvel will be like, here's the first 5 pages of Daredevil or whatever the fuck, or here's
preview. I have there are what 3 pages on Rippaverse.com of the book.
And there's no letters, and they're completely out of context.
Yeah, there's no letters, but you see, yeah, I'm not going to give the story away. I think the story is to be sold, not told. That's how it works. Are you going to knock me for marketing? Is that what you're knocking me for?
Can you see how that feels like you're probably hiding something?
No, not at all. Not at all. I wouldn't. If I wanted to hide something, why would I put the interiors? We're looking at them, by the way, right now. Why would I put the interiors there if I had something to hide?
Are you looking at the third one there?
Yes.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean, what is that?
It looks great. It looks great. It looks fantastic.
The writer just like, or the artist just put in like a pre-made like background.
Pre-made? No, he drew the pencil and ink on that.
It looks like some sort of Instagram filter in the back.
Well, that's fine. I mean, that's beside that, but that has nothing to do with the fact that you just made a claim regarding like me having something to hide. But like, what do you mean have something to hide? Well, I have interiors here.
Well, but why not put up some dialogue? Why not put up a little scene?
Because I don't want to spoil the story. Because I don't want to spoil the story.
Put up like an interstitial scene that doesn't have a huge plot point in it.
Nah, this scene, I thought it was perfect, but you know, I didn't want to put dialogue on it to ruin the story. I didn't want to spoil the story. This is a very special moment, and obviously this has worked. This has worked out for me because we've made $3.4 million, which is why I'm not and I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. I'm not. That's the grift. How is that the grift?
You haven't made that money based on you haven't made that money on the comic. You've made that money selling merch.
All right. So when people put up pre-order stuff for any other industry within any other entertainment industry, what are they? Are they just blindly pre-ordering stuff? Like, how do you feel about that? So when a game comes out or is about to come out and they put out pre-orders for, or even Marvel or DC put out previews for, by the way, you could get certain graphic novels that they've really told you nothing about, and you can start pre-ordering those. Retailers do it all the time that are like half a year out. You can do that right now, and you don't know anything about it. You know who wrote it, but that's about it. So why is that? Like, is Marvel and DC grifting when they ask for pre-orders for that stuff?
Wait, now you're changing the goalpost.
How am I changing the goal? No. I'm trying. I am testing your. I'm testing your logical consistency.
So when number one, for comics, most of the time are you talking retailer pre-orders or consumer pre-orders? There's a difference.
Well, both. They base their pre-orders off the retailers, that they base the pre-orders of how much they would be willing to invest in, based upon a lot of, whether it be pull lists, whether it be direct pre-orders, like what Midtown, for example, one of the biggest online retailers do. They do that right now. Like, you can pre-order books that are months out that we've seen nothing on. You could do that right now with Marvel and DC. Graphic novels too, that we've seen nothing on.
The retailers are doing that.
No. I'm saying not even just as a retailer, not just as a retailer. You can pre-order through Midtown Comics right now books that are well out.
Midtown Comics is a retailer,
right?
But
no.
That's a retailer.
Right, they're a retail. No, I'm saying they're a retailer. They're a retailer, and there's customers that are pre-ordering through them. I'm not saying Midtown is pre-ordering, which they do, but I'm saying you can pre-order. You can pre-order through Midtown right now. Like, you can go there today on books that you don't know much about, other than you may got a cover. You may got
Marvel's not selling pre-orders to Marvel, and DC aren't selling pre-orders directly to consumers.
Well, Marvel and DC doesn't distribute directly to the consumers. Why would they do that?
Yeah, but they do give previews to the retailers. Like, the retailers aren't buying stuff from Marvel and DC sight unseen. There's like marketing teams that go to the retailer and say, "Hey, here's what's coming up. Check this out. Look at this."
Not really. No, it's more. That's not how. No, have you talked to people that actually own comic book shops? Really. That's not generally how it goes. They'll give you a catalog, and they'll give you like a catalog, and it'll have some like bare basic information. But generally, you're not going to get like a 10-page preview or even a 5-page for a floppy preview of that book. They do not give that to the retailers.
Completely unknown.
What?
For something completely unknown, it's sort of like. I mean, I think, like a graphic novel, a big graphic novel that back in the day was Neil Gaiman and I can't
Sandman?
Forget who it was, who did Mr. Punch. No, Mr. Punch. And they came out and they were like, that was their big auspicious, like, initial, publication. Mm-hmm. And that one, of course, they were like, here's, that said, here's why this is good. But anyways, my whole point is that the only reason I'm saying this stuff about you.
Hello? What happened there?
Sorry.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. No,
okay.
But so what's being bought, which is fine. What's being bought is people supporting you. And your YouTube and your content. And then you turn around and you say, look at me, I'm this fantastic, successful comic creator. But you're no more a successful comic creator than you are like a T-shirt distributor.
Well, why haven't my T-shirts sold that much? Why haven't I made $3.4 million off of T-shirts? I was selling T-shirts. I've sold merchandise. This isn't my first merchandise that I've sold. Why didn't I make $3.4 million off of T-shirts?
And the cards, like, why are you selling your very first comic? Why is there merch coming with it? Doesn't make any sense.
How does that not?
The only thing that makes sense.
All right, I'm sorry. I just cannot take you seriously from a business like advice standpoint. It makes plenty of sense to come out with stuff that people can buy for your like comic book company. I'm sorry, I cannot take your business advice seriously, acting as if like there's something fundamentally wrong with me doing that. But can you please answer this question though? Can you answer that question? Because I want to speak about that. Why did I not make $3.4 million off of my shirts? I've not even made anything close to that.
But you've made $3.4 million off your YouTube.
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. I've never made anything close to that on my YouTube. What are you talking about?
You're selling YouTube merch.
But I'm asking you, why have my shirt? I've sold merchandise. I've sold merchandise before, and it's never made me $3.4 million.
Okay.
So why? I'm asking you why is that the case? If this was such about, well, just me selling merch, why didn't I make that much money on those items?
So first there was Gamegate, then there was Comicgate, and there's a.
But no. Can you please answer the question there? Can you answer the question there?
Comic book.
But can you answer the question there? Like, why did I not make money? Why did I not make that much money? $3.4 million. Why didn't I make that off of my other items that I was selling before the comic book?
Because there's no such thing as T-shirt gate. There's a reason why you're selling comics, because you know there's a pre-made, super angry fan base who, if you say the right things, they'll buy whatever shitty comic you put out.
Okay, so
and that's why.
All right, so you're comics, because there's nothing called T-shirt. So that means that it's not about. That would mean that it's not about the YouTube merch then. So it's about the comics.
No, because. But there was a Comicgate, and there's this angry little bunch, and then.
But no. But you said it was about me. You said it was about YouTube merch. So now you're moving to that it's about comics and this gate, but that's not about YouTube merch. Those are two different things. So which one is it?
Your YouTube is about comics because you want to make merch on it.
But I've sold comic. One of my shirts that I had for a long was like respect the sword. Hold on.
Have you ever sold comics before your YouTube?
No.
Did you make angry YouTubes about comics before Comicgate?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No, you didn't.
Yes. I didn't know what Comicsgate was. Hold on. I didn't know what Comicsgate was. I didn't know what Comicsgate. Hold on. Stop. You cannot answer these questions for me, bro. You ask me a question and I'm going to answer it. I have been talking about books for a while now. I had no idea when I first started talking about comic books on my channel. I had no idea what the fuck Comicsgate was. I never knew what that was.
If you put up in your comments or whatever, if you somehow show that you had an angry YouTube about comics before Comicgate existed, when did
Comicsgate when did that exist to you? Because I don't even know when that popped off.
We could look it up. But
I'm asking you. You seem to be an expert on this one, so I'm just asking a question. What do you think? When was this around? Yeah, Google it real quick. Let's get some answers.
Comicgate, Robert C.
So you don't even know actually. So you made a claim and you didn't even know.
2016.
Okay, so
you have a YouTube video before 2016?
Yes,
comics.
I've been on YouTube since 2007. So yeah, I've been on YouTube for a while.
Yeah, and I bet you transitioned into comics after Comicsgate.
I've been talking about art, games for a while, man. Like this has been something I've been doing on my channel for a minute.
You got hardcore into comics.
But I've been into comics. Like I've been into comics. I've been into comics.
There was money to make there, and you made an angry YouTube channel about comics, and then now you're making sort of like maybe it's a great comic, probably a crappy comic, and all the angry Comicsgate people are buying.
All right. So all right. So let's backtrack just a little bit because you're all over the place. So you're saying it's not about YouTube merch, correct?
So it is YouTube merch.
All right. So all right. So it's YouTube merch. So that's why that people are buying it, right? Because of the YouTube merch, right? Because it's YouTube merch, right? That's why they're buying. Okay.
That's right.
All right. So again, but when I bring up the fact that I've sold items before I put out a comic book that didn't sell nearly to that degree, you then shift. The post completely shifts, and then you say, well, there's no such thing as T-shirt gate. There's only comics gate. So that doesn't. So it's not that. That would mean that it's not about the YouTube. It's about the comics. Okay, which I'm okay for focusing on that. It's about comics, huh?
You can only sell YouTube. You can only sell YouTube merch for a successful YouTube channel. And there's
I could not eat off of my YouTube merch. I could not eat off of my YouTube merch. I could not eat off of my YouTube merch, man. Like that was not anything that I was making a significant amount of money. So why do you ignore that part though?
Because of Richard and because.
But no, wait. Like why do you ignore? I'm not talking about Richard. I'm not talking about Richard or the guy. I get it. You have an issue with Comics Gate. That's fine. But that's irrelevant to me.
You're doing exactly what they did.
But that's no, but you're not. No, all right. So we're trying to pin down what you think the reason is, or that we're making money, because you think there's a grift certainly here, right? And when you say that, and you say that it's not because people actually are into it, right? It's because of why. Go ahead and explain, and then we'll continue on. Why, if they're not buying it because they're interested in this, what are they buying it for?
They're buying it to use the dumb right-wing lingo. They're buying it to virtue signal their anger at progressive stuff.
Okay, so
that's what happened with Richard. That's happened with Ethan. There's a huge market of angry dudes. Like I've been on your Twitter for a week. It's only been a week, and the people on there who I've been interacting with are fucking nuts. And
I'm pretty sure they would say the same thing about you, man.
So
pretty
if
sure
I
they say
click
the
on their
same thing
thing,
about you.
It's all like super weird stuff. It's all this anti-Semitic stuff.
Sorry, I'm gonna need the receipts on that one. I'm gonna need the receipts on that one. For sure. Go
look at everyone's talking about George Soros in my responses. Everyone's talking about monkeypox and being like shitty about gay people. It is a clear group of people that paid for Richard's stuff, paid for Ethan's stuff. You've tapped into it, and they're paying for your stuff.
Okay. So is there a reason? All right. So all right. So with that being said, it's about YouTube merch.
So we agree on that.
No, we don't. We disagree wholeheartedly, actually, and you're objectively incorrect on this. But what we're talking about is more so a receipt here. I would love for you to prove that, but when we try, hold on. Let me finish. I just gave you the floor, man. Just let me finish. When we try to actually navigate this whole scenario here, and I try to have you explain to me why I'm making money if this is not about comics, then you go on about something about Comics Gate when I point to you the fact that I've not made this much money. Though I've put things up for sale, shirts, other items, I put them up for sale, and they have not gotten me anything near the money that we've got here. And I think where you're critical,
because it's all about the comic.
All right, so it's about the comic. All right, so it's not. That means that I'm glad you said that it's all about the comic, which would mean that it's not about the YouTube merch.
They'll buy any comic.
All right, so they'll buy any comic. Why aren't there a bunch of 3.4 people making $3.4 million?
Richard made a ton of money.
Richard didn't make $3.4 million. Your boy Zach, they had successful.
You've made more.
But one more time.
Like you've done the grift better. I said you've made more because you've done the grift better.
Okay.
You got a few other angles.
All right. So, but it's not about people being enthusiastic about comics though. It's just about the grift. No, again, you keep moving the post. You keep moving the post and saying, well, I point to that person. I say they didn't do that much. That much. Well, they did better. I point to the fact that I've sold merch before.
He did a lot.
Say what?
I said Richard made a lot. I mean,
Richard didn't make 3 point. Jawbreakers. None of that made 3.4. They had successful campaigns that should be celebrated. I'd argue that should be the case, but they didn't make $3.4 million.
No, they did.
No, they didn't. So all right. So it has to be. So there's no possible way to you that I could have seen success by way of the actual comic. It's just griff because
no one has seen the comic. No one has seen the comic.
No, I'm saying no. All right.
Refuse to show anyone the comic.
I've showed interiors of the book, and I don't know how many times I have to say that.
3 pages,
right? Correct.
Which has an Instagram background. Correct. Why haven't you shown the comic? Why can't you answer that question?
Why would I show the comic when I'm selling the comic?
Because I mean, like, what was it? Like Jeff Smith, the guy who did Bone, he published the entire of, like, was it Tukey, the entire thing online for free.
Well, he's free to do that. He's free to do that. I think that's a little silly.
That's the extreme end.
He's free to do that.
I mean, comics are in libraries. People buy comics.
If retailers want to buy them, they can buy the books from me if they want to buy the books. You're not
showing it. I'm suggesting that you're not showing it because it's not good.
Okay.
And
that doesn't make sense. The book is not out. Why would I show the book and basically cost myself sales? And this is why I don't believe you have any business sense.
Why? If you showed 10 pages that were great, people would read them and say, "Holy shit, those are great! I'm going to get the rest of it so I can have all 96 pages." Okay.
And I could do, or here's an idea, or I could show a few pages, actually more if you consider the fact that we've shown pages in the trailer. Actually, there's stuff that we've shown in the trailer, or I can do that, Hey, hold on, let me finish. Or I can do that and make $3.4 million. So you're trying to tell me this is why I can't take your advice. This is why I can't take your advice, because it doesn't make any. You're trying to give a man that had a business plan, and you're asking me. You're saying that why I didn't do something because I didn't need to do that.
No, but I'm not saying that. I'm saying you did what you did, but you're lying about what you did.
How did I lie? What did I lie about?
Into a market of what you did is tap into a market of crazies and ask them to send you money. And like a bunch of crazies, they're sending you all their money.
Yeah, and this is why, I mean, it's funny. Your attitude is why I think a lot of people are turned off from the mainstream, because you're just insulting willing buyers like that. And again, I appreciate if I would appreciate if you didn't try to insult my customers like that. I think they deserve far more respect than what it is that they're.
Your YouTube, I think. Your entire brand is bashing other people.
I think that you should give my customers far more respect.
Let's all get along by.
I think you should give my customers far more respect. But either way, presented.
They're a bunch of anti-Semitic weirdos.
That's not true. That's not true. That's not true. And this is why you see how frustrated you are, right?
Why don't you ever get into your replies and say, "Hey, man, that's not cool"? Why don't you ever get into your replies and say, "Why do you bring up George Soros?"
I don't even know what you're talking about with George. I have no idea. I have no idea what you're talking about there, or anything like that. But I will say this:
search my Twitter name.
I'm not doing
George Soros and see how many of your fans pop up.
I am not going to do that. I'm not interested in doing that. But this is what I will say. This is what I will say. I think this is what I will say. I'm going to explain to you. I'm going to explain to you why exactly people are investing in this company in the way that they're wanting to invest in. And I'm going to put you on game. There's maybe something that you can kind of take from that there, and you can do with it what you will. I think it's a combination of many different things, and this is why so many people have flocked to this. Number one is that I've talked about comics, and I've done very deep dives to prove that I'm knowledgeable, especially as a customer. On this, I didn't just fall off the turnip truck. Excuse me. I'm not just some guy who just wanted to, do his own thing. I saw opportunity to make a bunch of money, and I just, as a venture capitalist, wanted to invest in it. That's not what happened. This was something that I am actually passionate about, and I've shown my audience exactly that. Right. So when you couple that with the fact that, I presented creative projects before. So you have this very passionate guy with comic books that he shows that he's knowledgeable on, and then I have, hold on, let me finish.
This is the same every YouTube video.
Let me finish.
You say this over and over again.
All right, well, let me finish. Then I have like creative projects that I've been a part of that have also been very, very successful. I've never let my audience down creatively, whether it be with my old band Fire from the Guys, whether it be with Billboard charting band Backwards.
Dude,
number one, number one alternative new artist, number two Heat Seeker album. So that's a creative project. That's a creative project that I've done that people can pin to me, and it proves that I at least have a creative mind. So also the other thing is to consider is that there's a bunch of people that are willing paying customers that feel like they're disenfranchised, right? A bunch of people that are disenfranchised because they don't like, let's say, what the mainstream is having presented to them. So because of that, you couple that, or more so Drupal, however you want to put that. Those disenfranchised folks, my knowledge base and my creative mind where I've never let my audience down. This is why this was a recipe for success. I've not swindled anybody. I've not committed fraud. And if you are going to claim that I am, you got to be a little more detailed than that. I am just an honest man. I'm being very transparent. I've taken things that other people have done, like let's say in the crowdfunding space. I've taken that level of transparency. And by the way, none of the guys in the comic books actually offer that same transparency unless they are doing actual crowd funds. Nobody from Marvel, DC, none of those guys ever do that at all. So you couple all of that, right? All of those things that I mentioned, what we saw is exactly that. It is a combined effort from people that were customers that wanted to be that wanted to be satisfied with buying actual comic books from an actual comic book person, right? And that's why we saw all the success. It has nothing to do with fraud. So now you actually know why, right? You know exactly why this has saw the success that it has seen. It has nothing to do with me committing fraud or trying to swindle anybody. Those are very damning claims that you've made that are simply and utterly false. Hung up. All right. Awesome. Well, tried to explain to him. I tried to rage quit, which is, that's cool. I tried to give the man the facts, right? I wanted to explain to him why this did the success it did. And he hung up. That's fine. He's certainly welcome to do that. He's not under any sort of obligation to stick around. But what we saw there was just another guy who wanted me to be something. And, by the way, I got y'all. My customers out there, I love you all to death, and I appreciate you guys so much. I'm sorry that this guy tries to insult you guys. He doesn't get it. You know what I mean? He just doesn't get it. And he doesn't have to, right? We don't go through these guys. We don't answer to them. We don't do any of that. We just present something that you guys want. And I know we're going to keep you over at Rippaverse Comics around as customers. And I'm so thankful for all of you guys and the continued support that it is that you have for me. But you see how, remember when I've said multiple times that you see how they feel about you. And that's what it's about, right? It's about guys that have, a lot of y'all disenfranchised with what's happened to a lot of the entertainment and media that you guys love. And be it the bastardization, all of that stuff that we've seen. And how he feels about you is exactly how a lot of these other weirdos feel about you all. And it's that they think they try to insult your intelligence, right? You can't possibly. These guys are the smartest people in the world. And you couldn't possibly be smart enough to make an informed purchase, right? He's asking for things that, remember, we even brought up a book that I believe came out 2 days ago. And before, if I'm not mistaken, and we didn't get anything on it, and Marvel put out that had less pages actually that they gave than I did, or roughly the same, and no letters. And that was permissible, right? He tried to say, well, that's a third issue. Well, it doesn't matter because it's a different writer and it's a different artist. So why is it okay for them to do it? But God forbid I put up three pages instead of giving, I guess, X amount of pay. See, they don't like you. You got folks that have built their own sandbox, right? That's what this is about. This is that they hate you just as much as they hate me, because how dare you guys have an opinion that they, of course, disagree with. You're toxic, you're mad, you're angry, and, you know, none of that can be rooted in something that's identifiable. It's just, you're just mad just to be mad. And we said, you know what, okay, y'all got it. Y'all keep that. We're going to do our own thing over here. And you see how that guy feels about you. They call you brainwashed. They call you all of these ugly names. And it's the same thing. And they don't get it. They don't have the self-awareness. It's the same thing that we've gotten from the modern era of entertainment. And that's people that insult their own audience and insult their own customers.